Yes, this is my eighth Ghetto Youth Bible series. Um, I decided to discuss most of the forum on the YouTube channel, but I've switched back to live because I think I could get most of my audience to view it from here, and then I could transfer it thereafter. Something that today's topic that what I'm trying to talk about is is what you give to people is what you get in return. Something that happened to me. I remember when I migrated to London. I think that was in about 1994. I migrated to London, leaving Jamaica and leaving Sav-la-mar and leaving, my community of Charlene. It was difficult. Well, I was away at university in Trinidad for 3 years and Mona for 1 year. But what I realized that, when I was away, I was one of, the only person from my community that went to UA, University of the West Indies. No, most of my friends were able to do that, which was a bit, disappointing for me, because I know that there was a lot of stuff that I'm learning and stuff and everything that really could apply, but also that, that I could, change my life and in effect change their life as well. So one of the the thing that I said to myself, and one of the promise I made to myself, if I do make it in university, and if I do get the chance to be something in life, I will never forget my friends and where where I was coming from or where I came from, and that's Charlene. That's something that I say, if you give, if you get back, what you give in life. And what I decided that I need to give back to my community, and how I didn't know how I was going to do that. But, I moved to England. When I moved to England, I realized that, I didn't have much friends there. So again, it was kind of a lonely place at that time. So, I decided that what can I do, to kind of bring England up to the community life and living that I experienced while growing up in Charlene. Don't take it for granted, because, I said that it's a ghetto. That doesn't mean that, I would give it up for anything. Growing up in Charlene was the best thing that ever happened to me. There's a whole lot of stuff that define my moral fiber, because I'm from that sort of community. One, it teaches you discipline. Discipline so that you can respect your older people. They don't really have that. That's the thing about it, where so much gun is prevalent nowadays and there's no respect for your peer. The elderly in the community could basically beat my ass if I give trouble. And my mother father and give me a dose of beating also to compound that when I go home. There's no respect for peers. In that community, so I've been challenged, by many of my peers, in terms of they force you to be the best at anything, that you do. Whether it's sports, they challenge you. And, so it forces you to be competitive. It forces you to be thick-skinned also, so that, people may say a whole lot of things to you, but you don't take it, you don't take it as, and hold your head down. You try to prove them wrong, and you try to, to lift yourself above them in all cases. There's a lot of things you learn. You learn, learn how to how to be strong. You learn competition. You learn how to dig deep. And that's the thing about that growing up in a community like that can help. It can help. But it teaches you how to love one another also, because your friends are important to you. You do everything with your friends. You go you run a boat, a bush, you cook together, you share everything what you have. And that's what we used to. I think that's what most of our society right now in Jamaica is lacking, and even the community of Sav-la-mar. That's something that that I think that that we're missing, and that's something that we have to dig deep and see if we can really get back that into our communities. But what happened is that when I went to England, I decided that I want to bring my own community to England. How am I going to do that? I realized that at the time there was a free flow of immigration. There's a, because you were a Commonwealth citizen, you didn't require a visa to come to England. And I went there and I realized that. So I decided, you know what? You know, at the time I was living in my mother and my stepdad house. You know what I mean? It's a, you know, 3-bedroom house, which is a big size for England because England houses are not that big. And I have 1 bedroom, you know, for myself. You know, without even authorization from my mom per se, I decided that, you know what, I'm going to help one of my brethren to come up. The first brethren, you know, I went, you know, I'm not even calling in a name, but, you know, a good friend of mine. I'm going to call his name, Jason Williams Clinton. You know, we used to play football together and stuff and everything. So my thing is that I helped Jason because Jason was able to help me first. You know, my mother was able to go to Cayman Island, you know, to work in Cayman Island because me and Jason was great friends. Him and his brother Treverton Williams was great friends, and they were able to. Their mother was working in Cayman at the same time, and they helped my mother to move to Cayman so that she can get a job. So that what happened is that she got a job and she was able to provide me with most of my pocket money and stuff and any assistance that I need during my university years. So my friend that helped me, basically I in turn turned, and he was the first one I brought to England. Educated guy. Came, you know what I mean, got him enrolled in colleges and stuff and everything and set him on the way. You know, he stayed with me for, you know, for some, you know, a few months until he was able to, you know, to do it by himself. You know, he was able to live by himself and sustain itself. So my strategy was to take up each one of my friends one by one, you know, have them acclimatize, get them into university, make sure that they don't overstay and their immigration status is still intact so that they could be there long term, and then, you know, move them on, and then, you know, in turn I could help the next one. And I do this, you know, for a number of time. The next person that I did after Jason was gone was Michael Spence, my cousin. You know what I mean? We grew up together. We used to study together as a study group. So these are the clique that you know, that I grew up with, and these are the person that I call my true friends. I was able to do that for Mike. Mike came up. I remember something happened. Mike came and he said, you know, I could stay with my aunt all the way in Wales, and I said, you know, that's fine. It's up to you. You know, you have the option to stay with me. I remember I took the train and went to Wales and took him there, leave him and stuff and everything. It's one of my grand aunt also. I've never met her before, but she welcomed him in his house and in her house and said, you know, you can stay as long as you want. About 2 weeks later, he called me and said, my grand aunt said I have to leave because you know, she don't want her benefits to be affected by him staying there and stuff and everything. You know, I just tell him, you know what, although it was kind of difficult, one of my friends just left the room, just left the, you know, the double room that I stay, you know, I have a room that I bought an extra bed and have 2 beds in there and stuff and everything, because basically I want to help my friends without even asking my parents or with my mom. I tell Mike, I say, you know what, man, you're my cousin, man. Listen, I will fight the battle for you when you come. And I know that my stepdad and my mom is not going to be happy with the situation, but, you know, we're brothers, you know what I mean? We're cousins, but we're brothers. We grew up like that together. And, you know, Mikey came back, basically set him together, have a job. Mike closes his clothes. That's how we live. And get him job and until him can get him place to live. And this happened subsequently to a whole lot of my friends. Buru, Flap, Simon, you know, I brought on my brothers, Coxter, Patrick, the whole works and stuff and everything. And I was able to bring my community, Charlene, to England to create our own community. And the reason why I do that is because I got so much help from so much people. A lot of people is like, why would you help so much people and stuff and everything? None of those persons know that, yo, each and every person that I selected and I choose to help are those persons who have touched my life in some way or form and helped me to basically to reach the status that I am today. Every one of those folks. And that's the reason why I give back. That's the reason why I always want to give back, because what those people give me is what I'm trying to give back to them. You know what I mean? So when I did take each and every one of those persons, it was strategic also. What I did, I took somebody who have some form of trade, and some form of training so that they could in turn help their families and stuff and everything. So I don't have to reach out and help all their families. They could do it. And it's many people that I took up, and they took up all of their families. You know what I mean? In the sense that there was a vehicle available in terms of the only thing you need is a letter, accommodation, somebody with a good job that I had. I could provide the letters and everything, and that it was easy. Everybody I took. I'm not. It's not a boast. A lot of people think I do that because boasting. No, I do it because I want to help people, and I want people to help their families, and in turn help the other families. It's a vehicle that was available to us until they have the visa requirements and stuff and everything. But at that time, it was open. And why don't we create our own community that we grew up in and that we love and stuff and everything in another country when we go it? Yo, listen, man, if we get the opportunity, man, just remember, man, if you get the opportunity, please, man, don't forget the people them who help you to reach the level that you are. You know what I mean? Giving back to people, it's the toughest thing to do, because you work so hard, you think about it, and you're saying you're going to give away what you have. You're not giving away financially, and you can't give everybody money. But if you can help somebody in a little way that they can help their family, that's what's valuable. You know what I mean? So don't think that monetary, you know what I mean? And I don't have money to give everybody. You know what I mean? That's not, riches and wealth to talk about. But if you can help somebody in a way that, that you see that, you can help him, so that he can get himself out of a situation, so that he can, in turn help his family. That's what I promote. And that's what, I grew up into. And the reason why, let's just say children live what they learn. I remember living in a 2-bedroom house, 2-bedroom and a hall and stuff and everything. And I can remember I had more than about 20 different family members at different times came and live at my house. I have 2 brothers and 1 sister that live with me, with my mother and father. How is that possible? Because my parents showed me that I have helped people. In turn, that's something that's ingrained within my personality, and my mom is still doing that right now. My dad is still doing that. There's a lot of people that get say, Humphrey used to feed me, and Humphrey used to give me food, and Humphrey used to give me ice cream and this and that and everything. So you in turn gain these things from your parents and stuff, and you live what you learn. You know what I mean? So instead of helping down your fellow brother, why not try to help him up? Instead of shooting and killing your fellow brother, why don't you try to promote life and help him to live? You know what I mean? So that you can live better. You know what I mean? It's so crazy to see the state of situation in Sav-la-mar, or in Jamaica on a whole, that we don't want to help each other anymore. It's quite shocking if you ask me, because we grew up helping one another. You know what I mean? Me have like about 10 mothers Sav-la-mar, where if me go down Sav-la-mar, me can go every one of them yard and eat dinner right now. Because that's how we grew up. You know what I mean? We have elderly who are our parents also, who help parent us. And we don't even respect elderly anymore. You know what I mean? We need to change the state of things. I'm not sure how this is going to happen. But we need to tell our stories and start tell these kids that are growing up and show them example, so that them can in turn do better, because they can do better. You know what I mean? I'm not going for longer, but I just wanted to, to reach out and for people to understand that, every little, good, good vibes or any little assistance that you give to people, it might be big, little or big, but what you should know is that they might not pay you back in return. It will come back to you many folds. Many folds. Don't think about what people is going to give back, but think what you can give, and just sit back and wait. And I can guarantee you, all the good work that you do will be coming straight back to you. You know what I mean? And I'm going to sign off, and I'll sign on again, in version 9, and we can talk about more issues. But this is something that's passionate to me. You know what I mean? So, good night, and I'll see you guys later.